lovelies. How are all of you? Please ignore my son in the background. He is watching one of his shows. But today is another book review on a new author to me, The Peacemaker by Lori Copeland. This is from my library. We have these green stickers for what is called inspirational, which just means it's Christian fiction. So I've been browsing their Christian fiction for the last week to see what they have, see if there's new authors and stuff. They do have a lot of Amish and historical fiction, so I got some of that as well, but there are some more like suspense or just women's fiction in general, so I'm trying all of that out, hence why I tried Lori Copeland. In this we follow Winnie, at least I think it's pronounced Winnie, it's W-Y-N-N-E, so I'm gonna pronounce it as Winnie, but it could be Win. Either way, Winnie is from Savannah, Georgia, and this takes, or they get muddy buddy. This takes place after the Civil War. I think it starts in like July of 1865 or something like that. But she is traveling to River Run, Missouri, to find a man by the name of Cass Claxton because he left her standing at the altar and took her money. Throughout this, Winnie has a huge bitterness and anger problem towards Cass. She plans on, the minute she sees him, she's just gonna bang him dead. Just him dead. I don't know if I can say certain words on YouTube, so bang him dead. Well, on almost to River Run, almost to River Run, her stagecoach is robbed. Enter Cole and Bo, and they come, but they're a little too late, and Winnie holds them at bang bang point to or pew pew point, whatever you want to call it, and she tells them not to come any closer because, you know, she's just been robbed by a bunch of men, so she's very, very apprehensive, and she's kind of hating on men right now because of Cass. She is alone in the world, her parents are gone, so, and she's got a lot of hatred and bitterness in her heart, and she is constantly wrestling with the commandment, thou shalt not kill, throughout the whole book. Well, not throughout the whole book. Through, I would say 60 to 75% of the book. Cole is like, well, yeah, we can leave them be. But Bo's like, like, what are they doing? Are they climbing stairs? Bo's like, yo, mom did not raise us to be this way. This is not the Christian thing. We need to help them. And so they bring them into the town, and Bo ends up talking Cole into letting Winnie come and stay with them. I'm not going to say any much more about this because then we get into spoiler territory. But I would definitely say this is for sure an enemies to lovers. You don't get them liking each other until about 60%, I want to say. So it's definitely a for sure enemies to lovers. It's not one that says it's enemies to lovers and then they're like together in like the second or fourth chapter. No, it takes a little bit for these guys to get together. I have two quotes towards the back that I want to share, and they do not include spoilers. They're really good. The faith content in this is, I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars with the faith content. I do like the whole wrestling with God in this, because even Cole wrestles with God at his times. But mostly it's Winnie's wrestle that is the forefront of the entire book. Romance, I would give a 3.5 of 5 stars for the romance. I wish it was built a little bit better, and instead it kind of seems like it comes out of nowhere. But at the same time, it kind of doesn't. I wish it was a little bit more of the build-up, but it's still really, really good. Overall, the plot, I really like the plot. I would give that about a 4-star out of 5 stars as well. I love the setting. I hardly ever read books that are set in Missouri, so this was really nice, as well as books that are set right after the Civil War in other parts of the United States. Normally when I do read stuff that's after the Civil War, it's kind of more Wild West, more towards almost to the 1900s, not quite literally right after the Civil War, because Bo and Cole are on their way home from fighting on the Yankee side. For my Disney challenge, this is going to cross off prop number 5 for Belle, which is a character who has anger problems. Winnie for sure has anger problems, and I love how it's not like a full, all of a sudden she lets go of the bitterness and the anger. It's actually a slow let go throughout the whole thing. Okay, the quotes I want to share, the first one comes, oh, I forgot to say this is dual point of view. It does switch between Cole and Winnie, but it's all third person, and it does have long chapters, but there are chapter breaks. Let me see if I can find it. They look like that, the chapter break. That's kind of one of the things that is a bit of a downfall, because I'm not one who likes super long chapters, but I'm really glad that she does have chapter breaks, because the first chapter I think was almost 30 pages, or was a little bit over 30 pages. And for me, long chapters is just not my forte. But the first quote is it's from Cole's perspective. He talked to God often, asking for guidance. Trouble was, God wasn't doing much talking back. The past few days, Cole had felt like he was stumbling through the fog, trying to find his way. Maybe that was what the preachers meant when they talked about living by faith. He'd always thought if he trusted in God, the path would be clear, lit by the constant sunlight. At the cabin, when he talked to God, Cole had felt like he was walking in that sunlight. But out here on the trail, it was different, colder even in the hot sun. Maybe it was supposed to be that way. Sometimes you walked in the light, and sometimes you walked in deep shade. But either way, God was there. If you could see where you were walking all the time, he guessed you wouldn't need faith, and now faith was all he had to hold on to. Really, really love that. Especially because a lot of times I've struggled with this as well. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes we just want God to beam his light where we need to go, but that doesn't always happen. It's not always clear, and you're just sitting there like, it'll help here, but I really do like that it is a walk by faith and not by sight. If we walked by sight, it wouldn't be real faith, would it? All right, the next quote is from Winnie's perspective. It would have been better if she had never set off on this wild chase for revenge, but God had taught her a lesson, one she should have known all along. Sin brings shame to the name of Christ, and her heart had been full of sin when she met Cole. Sin robbed her of God's blessings, and most of all, sin only complicated life, not enhanced it. Absolutely love that as well, because I think we've all been there where we want to do things our way instead of God's way, and it makes matters so much worse than if we would have just waited for God and let God do his own thing. The sunflowers on the cover, simplicity of the flowers on the cover, and then the little kind of details like that. It's very simple, but at the same time it's really pretty. I really like it. I do recommend. What is my final rating? I'm stuck between a 3.5 and a 4-star. I think I'm leaning more towards the 3.5 because besides the long chapters, there were certain parts that I kind of slogged through because I was like, well, where is this going? What's going to happen? I'm definitely going to lean more towards a 3.5 just because of those slow bits, and the long chapters are just not my thing. I really don't like them. But I highly recommend this especially for historical fiction fans, and those who are fans of an enemies to lovers. I really recommend this, and I will be checking out the second book in this series called The Drifter, and then I'll probably be checking out some of her other series as well. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!